Good day for a swell battle. And begin!
Ah yes, Cuphead. One of the most unique platformers to ever come out, and personally one of my favorite games of all time. With all the bashing my head moments aside, I personally have beat this game plenty of times since its initial release date in 2017. The first time I played it and beat it, I had the pleasure of doing it alongside my mugman, my little brother Jacob. Now obviously Jake and I have grown a lot since 2017, as I'm sure most of us have, but I look back on my first playthrough of the game with him by my side very fondly. We would document our completed contracts on Snapchat for all our close friends to see. Something Jake and I have enjoyed doing together since that time in 2017 is watching a little well-known streamer known as Ludwig. Ludwig is a streamer both him and I enjoy together. We frequently talk about the Yard podcast, as well as just general conversations such as, did you see Lud's new video? You watched another Button video? Awesome. Now Ludwig has been known to speedrun occasionally on his channel, and just recently he battled out with Squeex, a streamer I've really started enjoying as well, who is primarily a Mario 64 speedrunner. The two of them battled it out to try and complete all the minigames in the Nintendo Switch game Mario Party Superstars, which houses a plethora of Mario Party minigames from previous installments. The fastest on the hardest difficulty was the goal. The plan was simple. Now, how does this pertain to this video? Squeex and Ludwig's speedrunning antics inspired me to try and speedrun one of my favorite games, Cuphead. Now, Cuphead itself has also come a long way since its launch in 2017. Cuphead, previously containing a series of 28 boss fights, including King Dice's mini-bosses, would introduce 12 new foes in their DLC, The Delicious Last Course. The Delicious Last Course, which had an initial release date of 2019, was then pushed back to 2022. Which killed me inside. It would introduce Miss Chalice, a new playable character in addition to Mugman and Cuphead. After checking Speedrun.com and trying my hand at revisiting the old base game, I realized the DLC might be a less time-consuming speedrun to try and complete. And so, I started. Starting out with my first DLC speedrun, I wanted to have something to improve upon, so I set out with the hope to just avoid getting last place. That meant I needed to be faster than a 54-minute and 7-second run, which seemed to be very doable. I decided to just try running the game without any major glitches, and with more reliable weapons, which just added a little extra time. After completing the run-a-gun and acquiring enough coins, I entered Porkrind's Emporium, and purchased the spread shot, a must-pick for most speedruns. I then entered the Mausoleum to parry my way to finally gain access to the DLC. Once there, I hopped into my menu and equipped the Astral Cookie, which allows me to use Miss Chalice. Miss Chalice comes with a double jump, 4 hit points instead of 3, and a dash parry. After that, I then made another stop at Porkrind's to equip another weapon, the Crack Shot. Essentially, it fires a bullet, but if it misses, it will shoot a slightly less powerful bullet that locks onto the target. With everything loaded up and ready to go, it was time to face the first boss, Glumstone the Giant. For Glumstone's first phase, it was pretty simple. Just spam the spread and dodge the flying gold. For his second phase, I had a similar idea, except I had a super to support me. For Glumstone's last phase, I just sprayed the crack shot and did my best to avoid the flying debris. Pretty good fight. Then it was time for Mortimer Freeze, the first problem on my run. Now Mortimer Freeze, I like to refer to as the Ice King, and holy, did I get hit in the boing boings. For Mortimer Freeze, my goal was essentially to keep the spread shot on him at all times. My first time though, I did pretty good until I got to the last phase. I ended up missing my super and had to retry it. I didn't want to reset. Since this was my base run, by not resetting, I would then have something to improve upon later on, since I was only 8 minutes into the run. Wouldn't you know it? I would then go on to die again to the last phase of the boss.
Someone got hit in the boing lines. Hit in the boing lines. Boing lines. Boing lines. Somebody got hit in them.
On my third, final phase, I switched to the crack shot, which proved to be a bit more reliable and finally earned myself a knockout. Then I progressed to the Howling Aces in Doggone Dogfight, one of my favorite new additions to the soundtrack. In the first phase, my goal was to focus the spread upward and move the plane in the right direction. For the second phase, the crack shot came back out to try and shoot the pups down before they could do any damage. For the last phase, I had to try my best on dodging the lasers, and even got a super off, propelling me to another knockout. Next came up my second challenge of the run, a plane level against Esther Winchester. The first phase gave me a hard time as I tried to figure out and relearn the best position to be in before the first run. Esther gave me a hard time in practice. Now this boss has 4 phases, and by utilizing my EXs, I was able to lock onto the boss when I was in a pickle, and ended up beating her on my first try. Before I finished up to the fun with Chef Saltbaker, we had to make another stop at another 4-phase boss, the Moonshine Mob. Utilizing the crack shot for a lot of the flying objects and spreading the first phase boss up close, I moved swiftly into the second phase. Although I lost some damage to some really small things, I was confident I could finish this boss off first shot as long as I played it safe with the crack shot. Now finishing off the second to last boss in about 18 minutes had me feeling awesome. No way I was getting close to last place on my first run. Yeah, I died a lot. Chef Saltbaker, also with 4 phases, gave me an extremely hard time, as I tried to reteach myself the boss mid-run. I did not practice him prior. With starting Chef Saltbaker at around 18 minutes and 30 seconds, I did not successfully navigate his patterns until I finished with my first time of 33 minutes and 14 seconds. With my first time under my belt, I felt pretty good knowing I had a few bosses I could improve upon, and I had completed my goal of not coming in last. I submitted my run and was approved with the 104th fastest Cuphead DLC speedrun. Two days passed and I was ready to shoot for some improvement. I decided to go live on my Twitch account this time, with no position goal in mind, but simply wanting to beat my personal best. After warming up and finally getting out of the first Inkwell Isle, I was ready to face Glumstone once again, getting there 4 seconds faster than I did the last time. Okay, here we go. Nice. There we go. Yee! Beating Glumstone about 3 seconds slower, but still having half a second faster pace, I was ready for Mortimer Freeze. Yeah, call the big guy out. Cool, I'm going crazy right now. Hold on. Yeah. Holy, 3 minutes. I was able to land a super on his final phase and beat him first try, beating my previous segment from the run by about 3 minutes. Gunning now for a sub 30-minute run, I moved into Doggone Dogfight. This one's always so hard because the controls for me. Oh, I'm nuts with it. I'm nuts with it. Hold on. Keeping my strategy the same from the first run, I was able to keep my pace and ended up having my fastest fight against them, dropping 8 seconds on that fight alone. I now entered Esther's, remembering the trouble she would give me in practice, but I hoped for the best. Okay. Okay. Yeah, this one's just gotta be safe. There we go. And on 1 hit point, I was able to knock her out. I had now beaten 4 of the 6 bosses all back to back and was closing in on the Moonshine Mob, with hopes of being top 100 now in the DLC Speedrun category. That's fun. Sweet. Looking at a 24:53. Alright, it's definitely doable. Whoo, if I one-shot him, I'm good, for sure. But, we'll see. That's all the boss is, it's just him now. So if I throw this, I'm, like, actually really bad. I now entered Chef Saltbaker. With about 15 minutes into the run, my heart was pounding. I should still be, like, on pace, even if I die, like, if I get him on my third. But if I get my first, I'm for sure good. Already getting hit so early on, I was hoping I could beat him on my second attempt, but I decided to finish out the first attempt as best I could. Okay. Okay. Oh, my heart's beating so fast. Ooh. No way. No way. Holy. I don't care. I'm excited. Oh god, where does that put me? Hold on, let's take a gander. I basically cut my time in half and ended up moving higher in the rankings than I thought, earning the 82nd spot on the leaderboard and dropping 12 minutes alone on the Chef Saltbaker segment. Now, only speedrunning that category over about the course of a week, I was super happy with the results. I had achieved a lot, and I can only get more excited about the future as I start to learn a few genuine speedrun techniques. But anyway, thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you again soon. Peace! '82nd. Yo. That's nuts. That's gnarly.